Okay, well, hello everyone. For those of you joining us, welcome. We're glad to see you here. So we'll do some very quick introductions, but to start things off, I just wanted to say that this is meant to be a very interactive session. So myself, Carter, Kieran, and Kristen, we're all current students at the Asper School of Business. We're here to answer all your questions from a current student perspective. So we'd love to hear from you. You can use the chat and just put them in there, and we'll do our best to get through as many as possible. So my name is Stephanie. For those who don't know me, I'm the current president of the Commerce Students Association. So that's essentially like the student council here at Asper. And I'm a fourth year student at the moment, majoring in accounting and marketing. I will let the others here introduce themselves, and then we'll hop into some questions.
Kieran, do you want to go?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name's Kieran. I'm in my fifth and final year here at Asper. I'm graduating in the spring. It's really exciting. I'm majoring in accounting and marketing are my two kind of areas of focus that I've done for my degree. I've been involved in CSA as well. Been in the co-op program. I've done exchange. I've done a whole bunch of other really cool and exciting things that have been really exciting. I hope we get to talk about. So yeah, that's a little bit about myself.
I'm Carter. As you can see, I'm a fourth year finance and marketing student. I'm also currently on UMFO, which is the University of Manitoba Finance Organization. And as Stephanie was saying, Commerce Students Association is like a student group for all of Asper. UMFO is a specific student group for the major of finance, and we have those for all of the different majors. I'm also on Commerce Students Association as well in a role there. So yeah, I guess one thing that I would have liked to know if I was a student is when I was first coming into Asper is that you don't need to know what you do right away. I'm someone that really likes to plan ahead and really likes to know what's going to happen. So I was a little scared coming in because I was scared that I didn't know what I was doing right away. But the way that the courses are set up, Asper kind of gives you 2 years where you can kind of figure out what you like, what you want to do, and then what direction you want to go. Then after that, you can kind of start taking more courses that are specific to what you want to do. And then even if you don't know what you want to do from there or where you'd want to work, as long as you pick kind of a direction, as long as you're in business as well, there's kind of a space for whatever role you're in at any company that you're going to be in. So if you want to do something sciencey, then there will be a business role at some type of science company. So like Boeing or something along those lines. So if you are one of those people who hasn't really decided yet, then Asper specifically in business is probably a good spot for you.
Hi guys, my name is Kristen. You can see I'm a second year finance and accounting student. I'm also an international student. I'm from Vietnam. And yeah, as an international student, when I first came here, it's extremely hard because, I don't know the culture here. I don't know what to do, how to be a part of a community. So I didn't know much about, and a lot of student group under Asper. So and those are mostly active in Instagram, and they mostly update a lot of information on Instagram, which I didn't know. So I highly recommend that you guys, reach out and follow all of the student groups on Instagram, especially Asper CSA, because they, update the most information about the general Asper information. Yeah. So for any international student here, you can ask any questions and I will try my best to answer you. One thing that I wish I could have known when I first, came to Canada and also I first attend to Asper is to get involved. Like just reach out, ask people, make friends, talk to people, reach out, and participate, get involved more in activities, and from there you will get to know lots of people, which will form who you are, and also which will lead the path where you're supposed to go, and you will get to know more about the culture here as well. Also, one thing that I didn't know when I first attend Asper is I didn't know that we can apply to co-op when you just in your first year Asper, because I applied to Asper as a advanced entry. I came from ICM, which is an international college, a part of UFM, and then I applied to Asper. So you can definitely apply to co-op when you just first year in Asper. Definitely, yeah.
Perfect. Thanks, Kristen. Yeah, so like I said at the beginning, if you have any questions about the different programs at Asper, kind of our experience as students, I'd be happy to touch on that. If you have questions more specifically about admissions or prerequisites or courses like that, that's something that I would encourage you to talk more with a academic advisor about, which I know they're available on this platform in the content tab, and they would be best suited to answer those questions. But anything regarding co-op, involvement opportunities, the culture at Asper, things like that, definitely happy to touch on. Like Kristen said, something that you'll hear over and over in Asper is just really encouraging you to get involved. There are so many different opportunities and programs for all different students at all different points throughout their degree. And what you'll find is that's really where you'll learn the most, is outside the classroom through those experiences. And that's something that's very heavily emphasized at Asper. So that's something you should definitely know as a prospective Asper student. Kieran, I think this is a question.
Oh, yeah. So hi, Ella. I see your question about the exchange program. So I last year went on exchange to Bordeaux, France. So that was kind of my experience. But you can go anytime after, I think, your second year. And I don't remember the number of countries and cities you can apply to, but you pick a country and it's an opportunity to go there. You just have to meet their grade requirements. I think it's a 3.0 for a GPA, so that's the equivalent to a B. So you do that, and then you apply, and then you kind of get to pick where you want to go. I really enjoyed it. It's probably been my favorite thing I've done so far in my degree, and probably it's been the most impactful thing. You getting to live in another country. You know, I'm from Winnipeg. I still live at home and stuff like that. So it was a huge adjustment to getting to live in another country on my own. And it's really cool because you get to kind of see what it's like to have the kind of business perspective, kind of from a global perspective, because it's super different, even like how classes are taught, how they approach business, and some of their kind of philosophies and stuff like that. So that was really great. So if you have the opportunity to do exchange, I would recommend it to anyone. They're adding new countries every year. So I think Morocco, they just added, Australia, you name a country, and you can have the opportunity to go there. So it's pretty cool.
I guess I can touch on Zachary's question here. Well, the Asper School, I guess the main difference is that the Asper School of Business is just a faculty that's at the U of M. So Asper School of Business is offered through the U of M. And the other one there is just the business program that's offered at St. Boniface. So they're just different schools. But if you wanted more information, then I can provide there. Probably head over to the content tab and they might be able to give you a little bit more.
I know, Zach, some of the classes you'll take will be the exact same because there's kind of a relationship between U of M and St. B. So there's like an English equivalent and a French equivalent. So I know people who from St. B, they might take an English course at Asper when they're doing that program. So, but I'm not super familiar with it. But that's kind of like from just what I can think of at the top of my head.
Mm-hmm. There's a really good question here that I think we can probably all answer about how we decided on what aspect of business to major in. So I think everyone probably has a little bit of a different answer to this. One thing to emphasize is you definitely don't need to know, kind of like what Carter said earlier, what you want to major in. At the beginning of Asper, the nice thing is the way it's kind of outlined is you start by taking an intro class for all the different topics in Asper. So everyone, when they're starting out in Asper, has to take intro to marketing, intro to accounting, supply chain, etc. And that way you get a little bit of a taste of everything. From there, you can kind of see what interests you and what doesn't. But it's something that, as you'll see, changes a lot for people as they go through the program. And as they get more experience, that's sort of how you end up deciding what you want to major in. But I'll let the rest of these guys tell you about their experiences.
Yeah, I can jump in. Yeah, kind of what Steph said, like it's really important, like to kind of realize that Asper lets you feel everything out. But I guess me personally, I'm a finance and marketing major. So I kind of looked at it both ways of first trying out each of the intro classes and seeing what I found interesting, kind of what came naturally to me, different things like that, but also seeing how those majors would be applicable just in the real world and what kind of jobs that those would entertain. So something like finance, you're probably going to be working more in a bank setting or working with investments, stuff like that. Whereas For me, you could pretty much work at any company and you'd basically just be doing sales type stuff. So in addition to that, I guess I haven't done the co-op program, but I did have a summer job where I was doing sales stuff. I decided I liked it, so then I just kind of went the marketing route. I don't know if anyone else wants to take that.
Kristen, you want to go?
Expand.
Yeah, sure, I can go. Yeah, I also struggle a lot of, during my first year. Yeah, I don't know what to do with my major, and also, so I definitely recommend you reach out to like a career service under U of M. They have like an office, but currently because of the COVID, so you can book on like an online appointment, and then there they will give you like a personality test, and which will help you, to determine which major will suit you best. So highly recommend to check that out. It's called U of M Career Service. Or if you want to, yeah, there they also provide you a lot of like, guidance on, on how you want to live your life. And from there, you will decide which career will suit you best. And for yourself, you can, try to take some additional course, like first year and second year courses usually are introduction, courses that, will guide you to a different kind of major, for example, finance, accounting. And from there, when you study them, and you will get to know, okay, if you like it or not. Also, outside of the classroom, I recommend, research by yourself. Go online, check that, well, what is marketing? What is the job under marketing? And you can, have a brief look of the job description. Do you like it? Do you like the duties? Do you imagine yourself, you like to work from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., that kind of jobs? Do you feel like it? And, just search different kind of major under business, and try to go to alumni panel. Another way to get to know if you like that major or not is to get to know the alumni and talk to them, ask them about how is, how, what is the day looks like. You can search for alumni under Asper by go to UM Cafe, and there you will choose your category, first year Asper, your major. And then, for every month, you will have one alumni sent to your email, and then you will reach out to them personally. And then from there, you can get to know and ask them many questions about their life, about their, and then you can decide if you like it or not. It's another way to get to know as well.
Yeah. And then I'll just answer that question quick, because I think the three of you guys had a good job answers. So I was in the co-op program, so that was a great opportunity to kind of understand what my majors I wanted to pick. The biggest advice I'd say is talking with older students, so people who were kind of already decided on what they were majoring in and understanding their thought process. So that was probably something that I found quite helpful, just because then you can kind of understand, like, okay, like, what are their career goals? What do they want to do after they graduate? Why are they taking it? So that was kind of there. And then there was one, and then the question, BOLU. So I don't think any of us are MIS majors, so that's Management Information Systems for short. But so it's kind of more on the tech side of business. So understanding kind of like internal processes. So I have friends that are majoring in it and they're partnering with marketing or finance or something like that. So it's actually kind of a neat area, because it's the tech side of business is becoming much more important. So having that understanding of more the tech side and the information system side, and then is becoming much more important. And then I know people who have graduated with it, and they're kind of having that kind of role between the two, and they've taken some coding stuff like that. So it's actually kind of a really interesting area to major in. So if it's something that interests you, I would really look into it, because there's not a lot of people that graduate from Asper with an MIS major, but it's definitely something that is becoming more and more in need every day. So that would kind of be, so it's definitely an area to check out and look at more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can just say quickly about the MIS or the Management Information System major. That's something that they're putting kind of an increased emphasis on moving forward, just like Kieran said, because it's becoming so important in the business world. So it's kind of similar to like a business analyst position, I would say, like working with data and analytics and things like that. They will be developing a lot more courses and putting an increased focus on that major. So I would definitely say it's an up and coming major to look out for.
Yeah, I can go answer Justin's question here. So there U of M has scholarships that are for like, I think everyone can get them, but Asper also has its own page where you can go and just like look up scholarships and stuff. If you want a little bit more information on it than I can give you, then maybe check out the content tab, because they will definitely have some information about scholarships.
Oh yeah, for Julia, yeah, I just sent you a link under the chat, and also like in UM there's a lot of service. There is like a UM mentoring service, what is will partner you with the mentor, like one of the alumni from our school and currently working into the industry. So definitely, I have like recommend you check the website out, book an appointment with them, look for the U of M Career Mentor Program, and they will guide you more into if you want the career opportunity, more about one career and how they will lead you to different kind of opportunity as well.
Mm-hmm. I can also touch on Julia's question a little bit, because a lot of the other questions that we're getting are kind of admin stuff, which is be better answered in the content tab. There's a ton of different majors that Asper offers, and I probably wouldn't be able to name them all off the top of my head. But as for the career opportunities that they can lead to, I can kind of talk a little bit about finance and marketing, because that's where I've experienced, and the other guys can maybe touch on some other opportunities. So finance is that's like everything to do with like investing, the stock market, loans, different things like that. So at a company, what your job could be would maybe be doing some forecasting. So trying to maybe figure out kind of, I wouldn't say predict the future, but in a way kind of predict what an average situation would be for the future. So that way you can make an investment decision properly, kind of thing. So a lot of that, like I said, does happen at banks. So one route that you could go with the banks is as like a personal financial planner. So that helps people plan for the future, and then a bunch of different stuff dealing with companies. As for marketing, that's a different one. Marketing is basically anything to do with sales, anything to do with advertising, different things like that. That's all marketing, lots of data stuff. So almost every company has a marketing position. I don't know, do you guys want to take accounting or something else?
Sure, I can talk about that. So on the accounting side, the joke is there's two certainty in life. There's death and taxes. So, and an accountant does your taxes. So that's a big part of it. And then also just like the internal part of the business. So preparing financial statements, information, what else? And then public accounting. So, doing audit, making sure like that, detecting fraud and stuff like that. So some really neat stuff in that area. And then it's just accounting is it's always growing. It's like a really important part of the business, and it was an area that I really didn't understand coming into Asper. So that's tons of opportunities. There's one question from Vladislav. Did you guys answer? Oh yeah, Stephanie, you answered it perfect. And then I'm gonna mispronounce your name, but just if you have a question, if you have a diploma in your home country, you need to start Asper in accounting and finance. So the level, you're definitely like, you don't have to know a ton about accounting and finance before you start. That's kind of why you take some of the intro courses and kind of build onto that. So if you already have some knowledge about it beforehand, you might find some of those intro classes a bit easier to kind of grasp, because it'd probably be quite similar concepts. So I think you can kind of be at any level going into it to really kind of understand. Like I said, if you're just coming out of high school, you really don't have to know much about like financial statements or discounted cash flows or whatever, or something like that, to really kind of to go into that. You just kind of have an interest in the willingness to learn to do well.
I'm going to answer Vladislav's question here, just because I'm pretty sure. Oh, did someone answer it already? Or oh, you did. Okay. Yeah, so like Steph said, like Asper does have a competitive entrance GPA, and we were talking about it a little bit. And so the requirements aren't exactly set because you're competing against other people that are trying to get into Asper. It's not a bad idea to apply for Asper to other schools as long as you want to go there. Make sure you do your research and different things like that, but it's not a bad idea to apply to other places if you think that you may not meet the requirements.
Mm-hmm. One thing I was just going to note that I always like to kind of let people know about Asper that I think differentiates it is really the partnership we have with our local business community. So something that's really nice is we have a very, very strong connection with the local business community. You'll see a lot of prominent members of that community attending lots of our events, mentoring students, hiring students after they graduate, which is not something that exists everywhere. Especially because a lot of Asper grads tend to stay in Winnipeg. So as they work their way up in the business community, they want to give back to the Asper school and to future Asper students. So that's something that's really great. We get a lot of really hands-on experience and opportunity to connect with those members of the business community that I know my friends elsewhere at other business schools in Canada don't necessarily get that same opportunity. So that's definitely a huge bonus that I always like to highlight for people considering it.
Question from Bolu there. What is anthropology about? I don't think we'd be the best ones to answer that. So if you go to the Faculty of Arts presentation or under that tab, that's where the anthropology department falls under. So they would be the best ones to talk about anthropology. My brother's in anthropology right now, and he explained it to me, and I'm very confused. And then so that would be the best place to go to go check out. So yeah.
Perfect. Well, while we wait for maybe more questions, was there anything that anyone wanted to share that they think would be helpful for an Asper student or a prospective Asper student going into the faculty?
Sure. I guess one thing is helpful is just to keep in mind, especially when you're looking for when you're trying to figure yourself out and trying to figure out what you want to do, just keep in mind that everyone that you talk to is a person too. If you ask them questions and ask them for help, they will probably help you. As a professional, I've met with vice presidents at big banks and things, and they're just people too. They're happy to sit and have a conversation with you and answer your questions. So if you ask for help, then you will likely get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think my biggest advice: go in with an open mind and be kind of willing to learn. I think it's kind of crazy to look at in the past 5 years how many different opportunities I've had just because I've put myself out there and kind of like things you're not even expecting to come up and some of the connections you can make and stuff like that. So I think go with an open mind, kind of the expectation to work hard and enjoy it. It goes by really, really quickly. University. It feels like just yesterday I was sitting in your guys' shoes, wanting to are applying and wanting information about that and being super, super nervous. And then it's crazy to look at everything that's happened over the past 5 years. So question. I'm not sure, Steph, if you're answering Maddie's question there, but you are not, when you take co-op, you can take one class at the same time. Just because you're working full time and then you're kind of, working 9 to 5 or whatever your hours may be. So it's definitely taking any more than one course would be a lot. People can do it, you can do it, but there's only so many night classes available or whatnot. So I would recommend not doing more than one. A couple of terms, and it was definitely
Mm-hmm.
I can take Justin's question here. So maybe a better people would talk to would be the admissions people. But I think all of us took science courses. But the one thing that I always go back and say was the smartest thing I've ever done in high school is in grade 12, I actually took family studies instead of taking physics, just because that helped boost my GPA. So I got 100% in the course. And that's probably the smartest thing I've done. So I would say maybe just don't rule out those courses that everyone kind of sees as a joke. Maybe take one of them, take your sciences as well. But just make sure that everything that you take, make sure that everything you take is applicable for entrance scholarships and stuff, because that can really help out. But again, check out the content tab and talk to the admissions people.
Yeah. And I can add that as well. So making sure you have to take English, obviously, and then now you have to take pre-cal. You don't have the option to do applied or pre-cal, so you have to do pre-cal now. And then I actually took an economics course in high school that was really, really interesting. I found quite helpful. So if your school offers courses like that, so like an economics or some sort of business course, that'd be helpful. And then I think like just doing classes that interest you, I think is the most important thing. So you just.
Oh, we lost Kieran there.
Yeah, I think he's frozen. Oh, there you
Can
go.
you guys? Sorry.
Yeah, we can hear you. You're back.
Taking courses that you're able to not necessarily like use to apply, but have some interest. So there's business courses that your high school offers. I took an economics course in high school that I found really helpful, like a futures and business types thing. You can do that. That's kind of what I would suggest.
I can answer Nina's question here.
Go for it.
Yeah. So I guess I didn't apply. I applied to a couple schools actually, but I was on the university volleyball team here. So I applied. One of the two schools that I was really considering were the University of Toronto and the University of Manitoba, because U of T has an amazing business school, and with athletics, it kind of would help me get in there a little bit easier. But ultimately, I chose the Asper School of Business, just because as a kid from Winnipeg, you're close to your family, you're close to your friends, and it's so valuable to have a network while you're in school as well. The Asper tuition is much cheaper than it is at Rotman Commerce. I think Rotman Commerce in total, I would have been paying like $30,000 to $40,000 a year, which is substantially more than I would be paying here for probably just as good of education.
Yeah. I can also just say quickly on that point, I've been very lucky that throughout my degree, I've attended a lot of different conferences and competitions. So I've gotten to get to know students at a lot of other business schools across Canada. And something that's become very clear to me from that is Asper has a lot more opportunities because of the fact that we're a smaller, more tight-knit faculty. And like I talked about earlier, there is that added support from the local business community. There are a lot more opportunities for hands-on professional development and experience as you're going through your degree, as opposed to waiting until you graduate to get that experience. And that's something that I think is huge and a huge plus for Asper as compared to other universities or other programs. So for me, that was ultimately the decision factor, is just the different opportunities that would be available to me in this faculty.
Do you want to take Maddie's question too while you're at it?
Sure. So I guess for those who aren't familiar with the co-op program, it is structured in a way where you do 3 separate work terms, just so you get an idea of what it's like to work in different industries at different points throughout the year. So the way it's typically structured is you'll do your first work term, which is about 3 months of work in the summer, followed by a winter co-op work term, and you'll also do a fall work term. So you do it at different points throughout the year. So yeah, to answer your question, you don't really choose to take it during the year. You kind of follow that flow, but you will get an opportunity to do it at those 3 different points so that you can experience, sort of what's busier, where you like working better during certain times of the year, and just kind of get that experience before you're out in the real world. So yeah.
And basically the way it would work too is it's basically just like shifting your summer break. So rather than having a summer break every year, you would have a summer break that you would work through for your first year. Then you'd have like a winter break during the winter semester that you would work through, and then you'd have a fall break, or you'd work through your fall semester. And then the rest of the time you'd just be taking classes.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone take Aiden's question.
Yeah, I just sent a reply in the chat there. I think we're like just about out out of time. We might have time for one more question, but I just quickly, before we do that, wanted to encourage everyone to check out the links in the content tab. I know there's a lot of questions and we don't necessarily have time to get to them all, but you'll see there we linked the CSA website, Instagram, and YouTube page. Those should be basically your 3 best resources to get those questions answered, learn a little bit more about the culture and the environment at Asper, the different programs that we put on, and you can also reach out to members of Asper through those different resources. So check that out. And yeah, unless anyone wants to take one last question, I think thank you all for joining us.
Yeah.
Again, anything related to admissions, check out the content tab, the what if you can't take grade 12 pre-cal, check out the content tab, the links there. They'll probably be able to answer your questions better than we could. Same with average mark type thing. They're reach out to some of the faculty advisors here and they'll probably be able to help you out better than we could.
Okay. I just ended the broadcast. I was like, that's it.